what is Satyam and what is Mithya. And the definition was Atma Satyam Tadanyat Sarvam Mithya. The difference between the Satya and Mithya is this. Mithya cannot exist without Satyam, whereas Satyam exists on its own. In other words, Satya doesn't need any other substance, any other thing for its existence. Satya enjoys the status to be on its own, whereas Mithya is something which survives only in the borrowed existence. Or you can say, whatever status Mithya has, it is only in the borrowed thing. Like even the gold and the ornament has a shine. The shining is also borrowed. Ornament exists. The existence is also borrowed from the gold. And ornament, if it's golden, looks like yellow. That yellowness is also borrowed from Satyam. So that which is a borrower, you can say, which is what it is because of something else, that is called Mithya. Okay. Now here we had a statement, Atma Satyam Tadanyat Sarvam Mithya. You see? Now look at this. Atma means I. I is something which is known to us. I is not totally unknown to me. In fact, people say also, yeah, I know myself. Especially teenage children, when mom says something, Mom, I know. That's a standard statement. Whether one says this or not, one knows oneself. How do I know myself? As of now, I know myself as a male or female, young or middle-aged or old, as a fat or thin, white or black, etc. I know myself as hungry or thirsty, as healthy or ill, etc. I know myself as dukhi or sukhi, or maybe angry, maybe frustrated, maybe hilarious, maybe sad. That is what I know. I know myself as knowledgeable, as an engineer, or as a doctor, as a whatever the status I claim to be. That is what I know. Now the Shruti said, the Vakya is Atma Satyam. That means, with this understanding about I, Atma, all these should be Satyam. That I am hungry is Satyam, I am thirsty is Satyam, I am male or female is Satyam, I am young or old is Satyam, because it is I. I am happy or unhappy, I am sad or hilarious, this is Satyam. I am knowledgeable or ignorant, that is also becomes Satyam. Now, this Atma is not Satyam. In fact, it is Mithya. For simple reason, to say that I am hungry, to feel the hunger, I need body. So my status of being hungry is dependent upon the body. The status of being ill or healthy is dependent upon my physiological functions, prana. The status The I status of being happy, unhappy, sad, hilarious, angry, frustrated, etc. is dependent upon the mind. So we need to inquire about this I. When the Shruti said Atma Satyam, that self or the Atma whom I know as of now doesn't seem to be Satyam. Forget about the definition of Satyam we discussed. Just like take it this Vyavaharik meaning. Satyam means that which is always there. Trikal abaditam Satyam. When you say tell truth, what is the weather today? So simple question. What's the temperature? Then someone says this. You say, are you telling truth? Yes, it is, let us say, -1 degree today. That statement today, as of now, it is -1 degree temperature is true now, tomorrow, or any time. All the time it should hold the same status. Now I seem to enjoy the opposite status. If I am hungry, I should be hungry for all the time. If I am full, then I should be satisfied or full all the time. If I am black or white, I should be black for good, white for good, happy for good, unhappy for good, knowledgeable for good, ignorant for good. So this Vyavaharik definition of Satyam also shows that this self-identity cannot hold. So who am I? That's the question. Now, there is this Viveka, as we saw earlier. The reason for Viveka is there when the two things are mixed up. Here there is a confusion between Satya and Mithya. There is no real mixing up of two substantive. Pebbles and the rice can be mixed up, but the pebble are there and the rice is mixed up. If mixing up water in the milk is a mix-up, there are two substantive, two vastu. Whereas here, only one is a vastu, another is mithya. There is a mix-up, or I would say confusion between satya and mithya. Somehow that mithya is not separately seen from satya. In fact, just now I told you that mithya is something which cannot exist apart from satya. The ornament, the ring or a bangle cannot exist without gold. So you cannot see mithya without gold. That is true. You cannot see the shine. You cannot see the color, yellowish color. You cannot see the shape without gold. That is true. But while seeing that mithya is not separate from satyam, I see satyam as separate from mithya. I see that there is something called gold, which is not really the bangle. But that means when mithya is there, satya is there. So what does it mean? Wherever that's false for mithya identity, I will use the word false identity. Though it is not appropriate word because there is no translation for mithya. For mithya identity, wherever there is a mithya identity, there is a real I. Wherever there is a bangle or a chain or a ring, there is a gold. So to see the gold, you need not look anywhere else except right there where the bangle is. Wherever there is a wave, water is there. And if the person sees only wave, and he says, I want to see the water, where does he or she has to look into it? He or she has to inquire only into the wave, not somewhere else. Satyam is not to be found away from mithya. So when you confront mithya, You confront Satyam only, but that has to be recognized. When I confront the wave, I confront the water only. So, in spite of that, I don't know. That means I need to inquire properly. Not that I have to look for Satyam somewhere else. Okay? So, people searching for some Atma is as good as looking for some water or gold away from Bengal, away from chain, and away from wave. You know, it is not away. You have to, I don't search for water somewhere outside the wave. I have to see the water right where the wave is. Similarly, when I say this body is mithya, it cannot be independent of Satyam. And when Atma is Satyam, I am very much present in the very existence of the body. Like the water is present where the wave is. That is the reason, in fact, body is mistaken as I. Though these two things, Satya and Mithya, one is Vastu, one is Avastu, they cannot be mixed up. But it is like a child not recognizing the gold in spite of seeing the beggar. I often give this example. Generally in India, whenever they have to do marriage shopping for a daughter's marriage, three ladies will go to the shop. The daughter will go herself because it is for her. This is modern daughter, not in the 50s and 40s born daughter. So 60s, 70s born daughter will give whatever, take whatever mom gave. She has to select the design. What is a modern design? What is the in thing? What is a fashion, etc. Her focus is only and only on the design. The mother, her focus is only on the payment to be made. How much can I afford? And there is a third lady, grandmother. Her focus is only on the content, whether it is a real gold or there is some mixture. She has that eye to see that this is not a 18 carat or 16 carat or 20 carat or whatever it is. She looks for only the gold, and the daughter as somehow looks for only the design. Much less she cares for even the money involved in it. She just says, forget, her attention doesn't go to the money part also. So also, wherever body is there, Atma is. And if not recognized, then the body is taken as the self. This confusion or this problem is again unique to the human being. Why it is unique to the human being? Because human being is self-conscious being. Totally self-conscious. The degree of self-consciousness that we have is, you can say, complete. There is a Vakya also in the Shastra, Purushetu avistar Atma. In Purusha, the Atma, there is a total manifestation of the self. Animals don't seem to have that much of self-awareness, that much of self-consciousness, and that is why they don't seem to have any kind of confusion or awareness about their own confusion. Okay? There is a self-opinion, there is a self-judgment, There is a self-estimation that is only and only with a human being. And this self-judgment, this self-opinion, this self-awareness causes self-complexes also. Degree of consciousness is so much that I am blessed with, as I would say that, I am blessed with self-complexes. A kind of complex based on self-opinion about myself, which animals don't seem to have. They are blissfully ignorant about self to large extent. True, there is a self-identity, there is a self-awareness, but that self-awareness is to the extent of the sources of fear and not fear, and what is their food and what is not their food. That much awareness they have. From whom to be afraid of, what to eat, what not to eat, how to live, how not to live, that much only. But they don't seem to have that much self-awareness where they can have a complex or an opinion about oneself. We say this is Girka. We say this is Doberman or German Shepherd or Alsatian or whatever. We say that. But dog itself doesn't have an awareness that I am of this breed. Our Go Mata doesn't have that awareness that I am Gir cow, most respected. That self-consciousness is not so much which can give rise to that self-opinion, self-estimation. Now, human being is so conscious that he or she is conscious about his ignorance and conscious about the confusion. Can be conscious. If he or she is conscious, then he would come to Vedanta. But then there is capable, there is a possibility that I can become conscious of my confusion. I can become conscious of my self-ignorance. And there is a capability also. Bhagavan has blessed us with the strength to be free from those complexes as well. Thus, this mistake is inevitable for two reasons. One, we are born ignorant. It is not that we became ignorant at a given time. We were self-ignorant right from day one. I didn't know who am I. Others told me, and as I use the word, I bought it. They said, you are my son. They said, you should call this lady as a mother. They said, you should call this man as a father. I took it. I bought it. They said, you are a boy or a girl. I took it. They said, you are a brother or a sister. I took it. And this is because of ignorance. In the jargon of accountancy, this is the promoter's capital with which you start the life. And there is a one reason. Second reason is the self is self-revealing. That also causes a confusion. There is a confusion about Vastu only when the Vastu is revealed to. Like even our famous example, if I am walking on a road and there is a real snake, I may not see it and I may walk away and put a foot on the snake and just walk away. But if suppose there is a rope, then also I may blissfully walk away. If it is pitch dark, then there is a total ignorance. When I walk away. But in a twilight, It is neither dark nor total light. Then there is a possibility. When something is revealed to me, then there is something. But that something is mistaken as snake, whereas it is rope. The vastu which upon which the superimposition is made, adhyasa is made, is to be revealed. Then only adhyasa is possible. Unfortunately or fortunately, self is self-revealing. That being self-revealing, there is, and because there is an ignorance, the adhyasa is natural. Ignorance is natural. Why I am ignorant? There is no answer. That is what we call it Maya. That is what you are gifted with from childhood. That I am ignorant, full stop. And that ignorance which is there, and there is a self which is self-revealing, then there is a mistake. There is a confusion about the wrong identity of wrong identity about myself. Now, one more thing here. To see a snake in place of a rope, it can be a personal error. It can be a personal mistake. But seeing myself as a Jivatma, seeing myself as an individual, seeing myself as some low, I don't take myself as a great. I always think I'm not a great person, small person. This mistake is universal. That I am little, that I am nobody, that thinking is universal. Even if the person may have millions of dollars, but self-mistake is universal and it is uniform too. That what I mistake myself to be is universal and it is equal to all of us. Then there are shades of variation, but basically it is same. That is why Shastra Pravrutti comes into being. Shastra has a role. That is why our Shastra or our Dharma is called Sanatana. There are so many reasons for it. But the basic reason is the Sanatana means which is beginningless, endless. Sanatana means that which is eternal. Sanatana means that which is not subject to time. Religion is Sanatana. Why? The message, the Upadesha of all the Upanishads, the message of the essence of all the Vedas, the essence of the teaching of Bhagavad Gita is same because the mistake is Sanatana. From beginningless time, people are born ignorant, and the self is self-revealing self. That being a case, mistake being universal, there is no subjective mistake. This is universal mistake, and that is why Sanatana Dharma and Shastra are applicable today as well. Just one example, we will see this in detail, that this body is mortal is a fact known to us also. Even if the person lives 400 years, I've read some stories about some yogis that he lived for 400 years. But that person also knew that one day I have to give up this body. Body will die. It will decay. It will disintegrate. He knew that, he or she, I'm sure. So that body is mortal is a fact. And there is a uniform and universal mistake in terms of the conclusion that I am body. True. Nobody says I am body. But this is there. The gunas of the guna dharmas of the sharira, the qualities of the body are taken as I, that I am mortal, that I am subject to time, that I am limited. This all confusions. That I am aging, that I am ill, that I am limited, that is perceived by all, that I feel inadequate, that I feel incomplete with reference to so many things, skills, abilities, my knowledge, my capacity to work, all these areas, when I look into it, any which way I look into it, I find myself to be limited. My skills are limited, my knowledge is limited, my existence in terms of time is limited, my existence in terms of place is limited, my all capacities, physical, mental, are limited. Even eating capacities are limited. I had enough. I can't take any more. There is it's like, I'm done. The typical American, done. And there is a no also. No. Hey, that's no, I know I'm limited. I can't. Though I like the food, I can't take food beyond this point. So, this sense that I am limited, this mistake is universal, and that we need to inquire into it. That means we have to recognize, we have to understand how I am Satya. How can I be Satya? Whereas I find myself to be limited. How can I be Satya means which is limitless in terms of time and space, in terms of objectivity. When it is time limitless, it implies space limitlessness. And space limitlessness implies it is formlessness. When it is formless, then it cannot have limitations of any objectivity, that I am limitless. How to recognize? To help us to recognize, there are various methods employed in the tradition, in the Shastra also. Technically, they are called as prakriyas. Okay? Prakriya means method of inquiry to understand the truth, method of inquiry to recognize myself, the I, the Atma, the self as Satyam. So these are various methods. In a Shastric language, if I say, Avasthatraya, Panchakosha, then Shariratraya Prakriyas, Panchakosha Prakriyas, these are different methods. Shariratraya Prakriyas, that is why he is the first. Now look at the sentence, then I'll come back to that discussion. We have to start that vakya. Atma kaha. Then he says, Sthula Sukshma Karana Sharirat Vyatiriktaha Panchakoshat Tita Sanna Avasthatraya Sakshi Satchidananda Swarupa Sanna Yastishtati Sa Atma. Look at the first compound. Sthula Sukshma Karana Sharira Vyatiriktaha. Vyatirikta means distinct from. Okay? Not different, distinct. It is unique. No, there is no sarupya. Distinct from sthula. That sharira word goes with all of them. Sthula sharira, sukshma sharira, and karana sharira. Since it's a compound, sharira word can be used at the end. But if you separate it out, you can say sthula sharira, sukshma sharira, karana sharira. Tasmat Vyatirikta. So Sthula Sharirat Vyatirikta, Sukshma Sharirat Vyatirikta, Karana Sharirat Vyatirikta. That which is distinct from gross body, distinct from subtle body, distinct from causal body. This is called Shariratraya Viprakriya. Shariratraya Prakriya. What is Shariratraya Prakriya? Shariratraya Vyatirikta Atma Gnana Prakriya. That means what? By recognizing Atma as distinct from, or I can say independent of all the three shariras, all the three bodies. Okay. Now the same three, this is one way of looking. Okay. There are models. Please understand. There are models of looking at this I. I can look at myself as three shariravan or avasthavan. I mean, from the point of view, three bodies, from three states, waking, dream, and sleep, or from Panchakosha, is five koshas. Whatever, we'll explain all of them little later. But this first way of looking at I is from the standpoint of view of Sharir. It is a method of ours. Okay? It's a way of different model. How to discover, how to distinguish that Satya Atma from Mithya Vastu. So when he says Shariratraya Vyatiriktaha, it is implied that Shariratrayas are Mithya, Atma is Satyam. That which is different from, distinct from them is Satyam. Now the same three Shariras are looked upon as Panchakoshas, five coverings, five sheets. Three bodies are looked upon as five sheets. There are n number of way of looking at it. You can look at this body from the standpoint of RBC, WBC, etc., or from the bone structures, bonal structures, or in the Shastric language, Saptadhatu structure, or this body, Kshatri, Sharira, etc. It's just a model, okay? Accept it. But same Vastu is talked about. Shariratraya is looked upon as Kosha, Pancha Kosha. What the second Vakya is, second word compound is Sthula Sukshma Karana Sharirat Vyatiriktaha Pancha Kosha Atitaha. Atitaha means beyond. Atitaha means that which transcends. Atitaha means that which is unaffected, untouched by Panchakosha. Five sheets, five coverings. We will see what does it mean. Same three body looked upon as five koshas, and the same Panchakoshas or body or existence is looked upon as Avastha Traya Sakshi. Sakshi means being witness of the three stages or three levels of experience. Okay? Three stages of experiences. We'll see how when we look into the definition of avastha. Okay? Then the teacher says, Satchidananda Swarupa Sanna Yastishtati, who abides in the form of Satchit Ananda, existence, consciousness, and fullness, who exist in this form, and one that abides is the self. Yastishtati, one who abides in this body as Satchidananda, that is the self. Okay? Here, as I said, three methods are employed. One is Shariratraya Vivekaha. Second is Panchakosha, five shit Vivekaha. Another one is Avasthat Traya Vivekaha. All this you know. Like Tattvabodha Upanishad, we have all these discussions regarding Panchakosha, Annamaya, Savayesha Purusho, Andra, Samaya, etc. Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Andamaya, etc. And Avasthatraya are discussed in length in Mandukya Upanishad and Kaivalya Upanishad as well. Okay. Now let us see first. Sthula, Sukshma, Karana Sharirat, Vetriktaha. Okay. That, see, understand the definition of the question is about Atma. Okay, who is Atma? And the teacher says, self is distinct from three bodies. Teacher doesn't say three bodies are distinct from Atma, but it says Atma is distinct from it. Understand the difference. Atma is distinct means only Satyam can be distinct from Mithya, not Mithya can be distinct from Satyam. Okay? See, water can be distinct from the wave, but if wave is distinct from the water, that means the wave has a reality like water. It enjoys the equal status in terms of realities. And then you say another thing is Mithya, and it enjoys the same status as what the reality is. Both are Mithya or both are Satyam. Okay? Now, here we should know this. Our Shariratraya Viveka, when they say, people think we have to literally separate the Atma from this body. And only when it gets separated, you get mukti. Then you are, I don't know this word. After separation from body, wise man remains in Atmic form. He remains in Atmic state. Now the question is, if after giving up the body, you have to remain in Atmic state, that means Atma is not here now when the body is. That means body is, if at all Atma is there, that means body is more powerful than Atma. No, that's not true. We are not to think of a separate Atma, separate from everything else. Okay? Because it is Satyam. You have to recognize as separate along with Mithya, not independent Vastu as Atma. It is in and through Mithya. While perceiving Mithya or experiencing Mithya, I need to recognize that Satya. Okay? Now, understand that now I'm bringing back to this. Teacher said Atma is distinct, not that the body is distinct from Atma. That means what? When A is there, when B is there, A is there. When B is not there, A can be there. So Atma is recognized to be recognized as distinct from all of them, in and through them. Gold is recognized as a distinct from ornament, but gold is in and through all of them. Look at this definition. You see, when the student just asked, Atma kaha, you know what is this? This is Atma. Teacher should reply that way. Student said, what is Atma? This is Atma. No. Before saying that this is Atma, he does the process of negation. Because there is negation, there is a mistake that is already committed by universally. That is why. Like even, suppose somebody asks me, Swamiji, you have been giving this example of gold and Bengal and gold, or traditionally pot and clay and pot maker, etc. Can you show us the pot? That is a mistake, you say. So, then what is pot if I ask? Answer should be this is pot. The teacher should not say pot is not the fridge, pot is not the chair, pot is Vyatiriktaha from this entire furniture, from is distinct from all the utensils. No, it should say simply this is prana. Simply this is to be told. Why he says this? Because there is a confusion, universal. So there is a possibility, prasakti. Therefore, it is called technically prasakta parisheda, prasakta pratisheda. You are negating a possibility, which is there, unfortunately, universally. So, now, we have these two standpoints, or two perceptions. Shastra has one perception about Atma, and I have another perception of myself. I see myself doer as an enjoyer, ignorant, etc. And therefore, the job of a teacher is to negate the self perceptions and then reveal the Vastu. Otherwise, either there will be rejection of the teaching or just gulping down without any understanding. Okay? Now, second one is called Panchakoshatitaha, that which is beyond Panchakosha. The word kosha means covering, means sheath. This is where again people commit mistake. They think that the self is covered. They give an example, traditional, a sword and a scabbard. The scabbard covers the sword, and so also this pancha koshas, or there is sarira in the form of pancha kosha, cover me out, No. When I say I'm male, female, middle-aged, aged, when I say I'm hungry, thirsty, when I say I'm happy, unhappy, agitated, sad, hilarious, etc., in all these statements, that I am so and so is a kosha taken as I. There is a confusion between the I and the prana, and then it gives rise to so many confusions. But there is a basic thing is this. So, in spite of the fact that Anyat Vastu is Mithya, it is capable of depriving me from my Swarupa. Okay? So, and this is wrong thinking. Atma is such that it cannot be covered at all. If Atma can be covered, that means Atma is limited. And that covering is more powerful or more pervasive than the self which is covered. So that is a wrong statement. Okay? Now look at this. What are the Panchakoshas we will see? What are the Avasthatraya we will see? And what is Atma? And Avasthatraya Sakshi. This is another prakriya where my existence or my awareness about myself is examined through these states of experience. So, this simple analysis, maker is me, dreamer is me, sleeping person is me, And then, distinct from all of them, there is a self. There is a person who, though distinct, but has to manage this. So, Atma is free or distinct from the states of experience. But what is Atma? And that definition starts. Atma Satchidananda Swarupaha. We will discuss it next week. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Nad Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Hari Om